Jack of all trades. Hey, I'm your host, Lamar L.A. Smith, and welcome to another episode of the Jack of All Trades podcast. Today, I'm with Aspen Potter. She's a real estate agent in Southern California. Last year, Aspen helped 7 clients buy or sell real estate in California as well in Utah and Nevada. Say what's up to everybody, Aspen.
Hi, everyone. I know 7 doesn't seem like a big number, but it was my first year. And most agents on average only get about 2 their first year, plus it was a pandemic. So I'm actually working on my projections for this year are about 25 to 30 as a single agent. So I'm very, very excited for it. Yeah.
Big moves. All right. I hate to bring this up, but it was too funny not to bring this up. So Aspen actually didn't know my name the first couple of days that she knew me. She thought my name was Jack Ondovan, like the
I know. And you reminded me so many times. You reminded me so many times.
My name is in the bio too. That's the craziest thing about it. Like if it was just a username, I'd be like, all right. But
I'm blonde.
I'm gonna give her a break because there are people that have known me longer than that somehow get it mixed up.
Yeah, it's your alter ego.
Essentially, yeah. Like the character's based.
When I'm mad at you, I'll call you Lamar. When I'm not mad at you, I'll call you Jack. And it's good. You should get worried when I call you Lamar.
Okay. I could deal with that. All right, before we get into the questions and everything, I just want to say y'all need to follow her account at Aspen Potter Homes. Like Aspen is amazing. Like if you want to know what it looks like for as far as a day in the life of a realtor, that's your girl. And her schedule is always packed. But in my short time in owner, easily top 5 of people I know when it comes to time management. Like I seen on the story, she went to work out like 7 in the morning, then she did this, then she did that, went to show a couple of homes, did a whole bunch of work. I remember one time, I think it was a couple of days ago, I called you was on the phone with me for like 25 minutes. Why are you typing and doing all this other stuff? So if you out there making excuses or I don't got time or I do this, I do that, Aspen's out here killing those, 15 to 17 hours a day that she's up, like killing it. So I just want to say that I appreciate that. Like
I appreciate that so much because it has taken so much time to figure out how I can have a schedule, stick to it, and then also be flexible enough to, like this morning, I woke up at 7 to go for a run and I had just 3 hours of work randomly pop up. And so it's hard to stick to a schedule when my career is so flexible. And I finally figured out a system to where I can be flexible but still stick to a schedule. So I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Lamar.
Nothing but love, Aspen. All right. So today's episode, we're going to talk about your collegiate journey and how that led to your life in the real estate industry. So your college journey is different, right? I haven't even asked you that many questions ahead of time because I wanted to spill it all on here. But the one question I did ask that you told me gave me more than enough to like generate a lot of creativity off my dome. Mm-hmm. And you started at UC Irvine playing volleyball. You then went to Brigham Young, aka BYU, for those who don't know. Then you went to UVU, Utah Valley University. You went a lot of places, right? But we're going to start at the beginning. What led you to want to go to UC Irvine to play D1 volleyball?
Oh gosh, I don't know if do you want the honest answer or do you want the
this is a raw podcast.
I'm assuming my ex-boyfriend won't hear this. I was dating this guy in high school and I was originally actually supposed to go to BYU. And me and this guy were like homecoming king, homecoming queen. Like I was crazy about him. And I thought about leaving him for college and I was just like, I can't do that. And so I thought I was in love and I was. I don't regret it at all because, life is what you make it. And so I went there for 6 months, didn't really like it. And then I just transferred out to BYU. The guy and I unfortunately broke up, but I think it was for the best. He's a great guy, but I've definitely changed a lot since 18, surprisingly. And then, yeah, I went to BYU out there. So moral of the story, love.
That makes sense. That makes sense. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. Like part of when you was telling me that, I could not help to think about Hannah Montana. Like out there when she said life is what you make it, like that's what she was saying.
That's like
Like,
went into my mind. I
yeah,
swear. We're on like
that's
the
what she
same
was saying
energy.
14 years ago when like Lamar was just like in elementary school up there watching the show. Hannah Montana.
Hannah
Like,
Montana was
yeah.
the best. That was
So
like my favorite show. That and Wizards of Waverly Place.
Waverly Place,
The
Alex
best.
Russo, Selena Gomez played the
Yes,
hell out
Selena
that role.
Gomez.
Played the hell out
Alex
that role.
Russo. I
Alex
love it.
Russo to go. But just to stay on topic, because we could go at this all day. What made you transfer from UC Irvine, to BYU?
So I actually realized I grew up playing volleyball. I'm 6'1", so I'm very tall.
Oh dang, we out of
Yeah,
high.
yeah, I'm very tall. So it kind of I had I think over 20 scholarships to schools around the nation. Yeah,
Okay,
so
okay.
and I felt so bad because my parents, they obviously spent, volleyball is expensive with all the trainings and the coaching and all of that kind of stuff. But within 6 months, I was just like, I don't love this sport anymore. And why am I wasting my time? And I feel like my transition between 18 and where I'm at now, 24, it's just been this huge realization of if I don't like something, like, why am I doing it? We all have one life. No matter like what you believe comes after, before, whatever, you have one life. You have limited time to live that life. And there's no point in doing something that you're not super crazy passionate about. Go find something else. And I think a lot of people have, for me, I get really scared with changes. I hate changes, but that's the only way you're going to grow. Because if not, you're just stagnant. And so there's been a lot of like big changes in the past 6 years. And moving out to Utah was definitely one of them. So just not falling in love with the sport anymore. And if I didn't play the sport, I lost the scholarship, and UCI is like 41 grand a year. So whereas BYU,
Yeah,
I was Mormon
yeah.
at the time, BYU was like 5 grand a year. So just a little cheaper, and why not?
I mean, if little means a lot, then yeah, it's a little, sunny outside in Arizona some days. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But to touch on to what you said, I do think what you said just now, as far as your response, is a point in life that you'd be surprised that a lot of people don't ever realize in life, but you've already realized that, at a young age, where I think it's powerful. Like you said, Gary Vee, I don't know if you ever if you follow
Yeah.
him, but Gary
Yeah.
Vee talks about this all the time. Like, you only live one life. People prioritize everything else in their life over their own happiness, which it makes sense if you're stuck in the mind frame or the rat race that everyone is kind of grown up far as like being taught to think that way. But if you really think about it in the meat and potatoes of life, it makes no sense. Like,
Yeah.
you only live one life. Why would you not want to be happy? Like,
Yeah.
like you
100%.
said, you weren't happy playing volleyball, so you was like, I'm gonna move on to something else. And far
It
as like,
was Oh my gosh, it was so scary. I was living at my girlfriend Kelby's house. Just because my parents and I were way better now, but at the beginning when I was 18, I was a little rowdy.
okay, okay,
For
okay.
sweet souls. So I was living at my girlfriend Kelby's house. And I remember my friends, we got all my stuff from the dorms and put it in this like tiny little car because I didn't have a car at the time. So my friend Devin, she had this tiny little sedan. We put all my stuff, and I don't know, like now that I have a bunch of stuff, I need a moving truck. But somehow we fit all my stuff in this little car. I moved it to Kelby's for 3 days, and within that 3 days, I decided like, okay, I need to go to Utah, and I packed my stuff and just went out there. And it was so scary, but I feel like there's so many points in my life where I have like this path, like right here. And sometimes it bites me in the butt just going for one. But I feel like so many people just sit here in the middle, just like, I don't know which way to go. And I feel like that's almost more damaging than just going for one, figuring out that it's not the right path for you faster, and then going to the other one. I mean, I definitely think about my decisions, but I also am more of the impulsive type for sure. And I kind of like it. It's definitely taught me a lot in life so far.
That's definitely somewhere where we have in common. I've made a lot of impulsive decisions, like my whole life. Like when you talked about like being uncomfortable, like my life has been just throw them in the fire and like just don't get burnt, like essentially. Because I know with me, undergrad at Kentucky, I was waitlisted to go to Kentucky, and I had other options, but I really didn't have any other options. And like people, like especially my mom was like, apply to other schools, Lamar, blah blah blah. Like, you want to have a safety school, and I just kept telling her I'm gonna go to Kentucky. Like everyone thought I was crazy, but I was like, I'm gonna go to Kentucky. I was waitlisted for 3 months. Like we are into the summer, almost in the month of July, the last month of June, I get in, and I'm like, I knew it. Or like grad school, I said I was going to go to Arizona State. I
Mhm.
never visited the state of Arizona before, but I said I was
Where
going
did
to
you
go
get that
there.
idea?
Uh, like I said, I just be going for it. Like I knew that Arizona State had an elite sports journalism program,
Mhm.
and I wanted to be in a place where I feel like I can grow in that area of my life. Kentucky was Kentucky, and I've been there 4 years. Everything you'll see it in the book to an extent, but like everything that needed to be done, I felt like I did, especially that last year. So it was like, I need to get out of here because if I stay here, I'm already comfortable. There's not going to help me move the needle, and I got to move the needle. Whether it's
Yeah,
backward or forward, the needle had to be moved. So I just
definitely.
said, go. I didn't even visit Kentucky before I ended up going there. So I'm
Really?
just, yeah,
That
and a
is so
conviction.
awesome. Well, it sounds like you have a very strong intuition. Like you know what you want, and I feel like that's very rare. A lot of people don't have that, intuition or even that desire to know exactly what they want, and that they don't care about anything else. And I think that's really a really cool quality trait to have for sure.
Appreciate that. That means a lot coming from, the certified boss like yourself. So I appreciate that. I appreciate that. So in general, like how hard was it to make that transition from D1 athlete? I know, like you said, you stopped loving it, but obviously there's perks with being a D1 athlete. How
I
hard was
didn't
that
realize
transition?
the perks. I didn't
What?
know. No, I mean, I knew, but I didn't realize how many perks. They don't.
Being a regular student?
Yeah, you're like, I remember senior year, I'm like, what do you mean I can't get into that class? I have to have that class. And then I remember back freshman year, I got in all my classes like, 2 weeks before everybody else. So I had no idea.
Yeah,
I
like,
still made it work. It was fine.
yeah. Like was that really the only hard element, like scheduling classes as far as the transition from athlete to student?
Honestly, what the craziest thing was, so when you're a college athlete, it's a full-time job.
Oh, 100%.
You wake up at 6, you work out for 2.5 hours. This is like a regular day. You go to class for 4 hours, and then by that point it's like a one. And then you do homework for 2 hours, and you have your evening workout session, which is also 2 hours. And then you have 2 more hours of homework, and then you go to bed. And it's just like 4 or 5 hours of volleyball a day, which is just exhausting. It's exhausting. And so I remember the first semester I didn't have school, I would get all my homework done super fast. And I was like, what do I do now? I have no idea what what to fill my time with. Whereas now, I almost feel like I don't have enough time in the world. I miss having that feeling of, um, where having so much free time because I had packed my schedule so much. But I'm finally getting to a place where I'm more, I don't need as much time off. I enjoy working. So, but yeah, I miss that first semester after volleyball where I was just bored all the time.
That does make sense. Because, like, that structure or that rigid schedule, the next thing you know, you're doing not everything, but like literally half the stuff that you used to do.
Yeah.
And now, like, since the other half is gone, you're like, my schedule, like,
What do I
really,
do
really
now?
free.
Yeah. So I got a job because I didn't have a job, thankfully, with UCI, I got a stipend every month of like $1,300 or something like that.
Cost of
Which was
attendance.
awesome. Yeah. So I got a job, which freed up my time a lot. And I started reading a lot. That's kind of where I got my passion for real estate, just having so much time and not really knowing what to do with it.
Dang, you already answered my next question, because I was about
I had a
to ask,
feeling. I was like, oh shoot,
I
I
was
probably
like,
took the thunder.
how did real estate catch your eye? Obviously, you said reading. Is it anything different than what I was going to ask, or just like since you like through reading like real estate?
Yeah. I started, in the Mormon community, there's very successful people. They don't really party. They don't do anything except work and focus on their families, which is, I think, really, really cool. And so I started interviewing successful people, asking like, what do you do? How did you get there? I'm sick of being broke. Tell me exactly how you got to where you are. And I'm going to combine all these things together. Even now, every other week, I will try to interview somebody that I really admire, or get on a 10-minute phone call, or send an email of somebody who is successful that I want my life to look like. I think success, it's a lot of it is about seeing what you want in the future. Like, you can do all the little things, but if you don't have the big picture, like the rainbow, and you just have little steps along the way, you're not gonna build the entire rainbow. It's gonna be a little bit messed up. And so, and you also can't just have the rainbow and no steps along the way, because you're not going to know how to get there. So I figured out the rainbow and the steps, like what I wanted. And then I tried figuring out the steps, and I realized that, most of the people that had a lot of money, that were going to have a lot of money for a lot of years, which is called passive income, they were in real estate. And this passive income fascinated me. Passive income essentially means, for those of you who don't know, money that just comes into your bank account every month, and you don't have to do anything to get it there.
Well, one time, and it keeps coming
every month. So, with real estate, for example, if you own a rental property and your mortgage payment is $2,000, and you, charge $3,000 a month in rent, you have $1,000 of profit coming into your bank account. And if you have 10 properties just like that, you have $10,000 a month coming into your bank account. And that's $100,000 a year. You're gonna have to pay out some money, like if pipes break or whatever, but homes appreciate, real estate appreciates. And so I buy a home today for, I don't know, $500,000. And 10 years from now, that home's gonna be worth $600,000. And so if you sell it, or if you're getting rent on it and you charge more for rent because all the rental prices are going up because of appreciation, then you're making even more. You can charge, like to my last example, you can charge, instead of $3,000 a month, you charge $3,500 a month. And then you're making $1,500 a month and $150,000 a year with 10 properties. So that, as soon as I figured that out, I was just like, holy crap, how do I do that? That's brilliant. Like, I work for 10 years, buy some properties, and then I just chill with $200,000 a year and 20 properties and manage them. Like, that's perfect. And so I had to figure out how I wanted to get there. And I realized, if I get my real estate license, I'll be learning real estate and also making money. And I also like talking to people. I get all this kind of morphed into this really perfect plan. And it's just worked out wonderfully. So I'm really, really excited about it.
Damn, that just blew my mind. Like,
sorry, that was a little bit of a rant.
No, it's nothing wrong with the rant. It's cool. We appreciate it. It's just the fact that obviously I like money. Obviously I have a fascination with passive income, hence why I wrote a book. Mm-hmm. But just to hear all of that and like to learn more about real estate through that lens and like how that fascinated you is like, damn. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of fun things that you can do with it. Like, there's so many different things that you can do with it. It's crazy. Like, once you, for those listening, really, if you're interested in real estate at all, or interested in making money, or interested in passive income, check out biggerpockets.com. Changed my life, changed my entire life. It's a podcast, it's a social group, they have books, and it breaks down real estate investing and all the different, that what I explained is that is like the most basic kind of real estate investing. There's so many different types of real estate investing, and you can do it for as little as like, I think like $500. There's these groups called, I can't remember what they're called. But basically a bunch of people come together with like a little bit of money, and then you each get a percentage each month, which I think is really cool.
That's dope. That's dope.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to know how have you grown? Like in what ways have you grown since you first started real estate? Like how have you grown like as a real estate agent?
I've definitely learned a lot about myself. I love efficiency. I didn't realize that most people would rather work harder instead of smarter. Whereas I definitely I'm super freaking lazy, and I just want to do the absolute minimum and have it be the same exact thing that somebody else is spending a ton of time on. For example, like with my business, everything is automated, and yes, it takes a lot of time getting it set up, but now like when I get a client, when I get a lead and I'm getting about 10 or 15 a day, they automatically get a text, they automatically get an email, they're set up on a drip campaign. And that one client, if I got that one client and had to send that email and send that text and set it, that would take me an hour.
Yeah, that's time consuming.
And I'm doing it all automatically. And like, I didn't realize that a lot of people, like when I was first looking for my mentor and I kind of mentioned like automation, like we're in 2021, why are you still, like one of my old mentors who's writing down on a yellow pad? And I was like shocked. I was like, what are you doing? You're going to lose that paper. And then that lead is gone, potentially worth, as real estate agents. Yeah. As real estate agents, like I made $20,000 on a property closing last month, and you're putting $20,000 on this little piece of paper? That does not make sense to me. So definitely a passion for that. Let's see. I have learned how to make my mind stronger. With real estate, with any entrepreneur, there's so many ups and downs. Like one day I'm like, I'm the freaking queen of the world. Why are you guys not all bowing? And then the next day you're just like, I should be thrown in the trash. Like what is going on right now? And so it's definitely, you definitely have to have control of your mind. And I've read so many books, like I kind of brought some down here to show you guys, like I have so many books all about controlling thoughts in your mind, because you can't control the world. You can't control anything. All you can control is how you react. And as soon as I remember that, like when I'm having a bad day and I'm like, oh wait, I can control how I react. Like I don't have to think all these negative thoughts. It just, everything completely changes, because now I'm attracting positive things. Like as soon as I'm going through a breakup right now, and it's so crappy. I hate it. It's awful. I hate breakups. It was not really expected. And I was, down in the dumps for like 5 days. And then I thought, why am I going to be sad about this? Like there has to be good out of this. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to write all the good stuff out. Wrote it out. I read it every day whenever I start feeling sad. And it's just, I have so many more opportunities coming my way now, because I'm just looking at the brighter side of things. So that's definitely something I've learned as well.
Very therapeutic. I mean,
yeah, I think mental toughness is super important.
I've never tried that, but I feel like I have like a filter on my mind for most of that. Like I have this, I call it my next play mentality. So like, obviously, like, from playing sports, like if you lose a point or whatever, like you can't worry about that. Like we still got to get the set. So yeah. I got to worry about the next play. Or like I play basketball, like if I get a turnover, then forget it. I got to get it back, get a stop on defense, or try to get a stop on defense. So like my mentality, far as like when I'm sad about stuff, or like I don't really date, but like if a girl breaks my heart, and I put like quotes on that for a reason, uh, I just like, all right, I got one day to be pissed off about it or be bothered about it. But when I hit the bed, when I wake up, it don't exist no more. Like it didn't happen. Like
Yeah,
when I
that's
wake up,
amazing.
I'm like, oh, like it's been times that my friends will ask me about a situation or a girl or anything in between. And I'm like, oh, you mean them? Oh, I don't remember the last time I talked about them. Like it's just a
How do you do that? Oh my gosh,
I have
I'm
a
so jealous.
I have a short attention span. So like
Oh
if
wow.
I'm not consistently speaking to you, like I'll forget you just unintentionally.
Yeah,
So with the next play mentality on top of that, it's like, why am I tripping over somebody who wouldn't be tripping over me? Like,
yeah, that's that hits right here, 100%. It's see, I know that, but then I just overthink and overthink and overthink, and it just drives me freaking crazy because I'm like, I have control of my thoughts. Why am I still thinking about that? I just read that last night and I was feeling good. But yeah, that's a really good quality to have for sure. I'm jealous.
appreciate it. Like, it's different. I'm a serial situationship, like walking situationship. So it's
Gotcha, you're a player.
pump the brakes, Aspen. You don't know how many people are watching this or hearing this. I'm not a player. I'm just
You're
comfortable.
a romantic soul. You're
Yeah,
sensitive.
yes. I have a lot of
Oh,
love for
ladies,
poetry.
he's so sensitive. He called me on the phone last night and we like read poems and we're just friends, but he loves poems and all the sensitive stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Flowers.
yes. These things are true. These things are true. But that's beside the point. How, like, I know you talked about it a little bit earlier, as far as like the people that you interviewed and the community with BYU, around BYU, whatever, or in Utah in general. But how did your college experience influence your career path?
So, I'm trying to figure out how I want to answer this question. Um, So when I went to college, I had no idea what degree I wanted. I went into business and then I went to elementary ed and then I went into communication. And by the end of the day, I was just like, I just want a degree. I don't care what it's in. I'm going to learn
I don't
more.
blame you.
Yeah, and I know people now that have gotten degrees in real estate, and I am a little bit jealous because they do understand the numbers maybe a little bit better than I can, but I can still learn them. I can read the exact same books that they read. So I just got a basic degree in communication. I was just like, you know what? I just want the most basic degree and I'm going to work during college. And I actually picked up a job in college, which completely changed my entire trajectory. And it was a house up in Salt Lake. The investor was flipping it, but he lived out of state and he needed a manager. And so I completely took over managing the property. I redid the entire kitchen. That I redid one of the entire bathrooms. I tore down walls. I painted walls. I decorated the entire house. I did the backyard, the front yard, all of that. And that's where I was like, okay, like this is fun. I can be creative. I can work with my hands. I can be efficient. I can boss people around. Like, I could do all the things that I was passionate about, and I finally figured out like, and I could make money. I can make a ton of money. We bought the house for like 300,000, and we put around 40,000 into it, and I got appraised for like 410, which is 30 300, that's $70,000 out after 2 months of work. I am all ears. You're telling me I can make 35 grand a month? And yes, I worked 70 hour weeks, but it was fun. I didn't feel like working. So that's kind of where I was like, I want to get into flipping. I need to get my real estate license, make some money, and then I can flip in a couple years.
Hmm. So
Yeah. So
she did all of this while in school.
yes.
I was
Yeah.
up there throwing parties, man. I thought I was making like some little change. You
I don't
talking
know. I don't know.
70K or whatever, that's multiple years of college for me. So
Yeah, I don't know how I did it. I honestly, I did not care about school. I just would like click through the questions and just I put in the least amount of effort. My last year, I was just like, I just need my degree. I don't care
oh man.
anymore.
Oh man.
And no, and I think some degrees are really important that and I do think it's important that you put your full effort in. I hate encouraging that because I would not encourage that on anybody. I do actually wish that I paid more attention to some of the things in school because communication is needed in every business. And I wish I took classes that like now I'm signing up for community college classes to learn different things about life that I wish I just took while I was in school because it would have counted for credit. So um yeah, I'm not endorsing not paying attention in school. I'm just saying maybe take classes that you actually care about.
I know, at least for me, the way I look at school is obviously it's different depending on your major. Let me preface that. Depending on
Mhm.
your major, your mentality should be different. Because if you, let's say, are biology or you want to go to med school, like every class is like the final countdown. Like you gotta ball out if you want to get, into a good
100%.
program, whatever.
Yeah.
But outside of med school, even if you want to go to grad school, because I check that off the list, be okay with making mistakes. Like nothing is the end of the world. If you bomb one test, more times than not, you can usually recover from it. Like focus on enjoying the experience. You will never get that time back again. I graduated. I needed a 3.0 to keep my scholarship in college. I graduated with like a 3.04. No, I graduated 3.04. So I was like on the nose, like I was pushing the envelope as hard as possible. I needed a 3.0 to get my graduate degree. I graduated with like a 3.08. So I did that. But if you count all the experiences I did, like throwing parties, being on Cronkite News, getting to do all these different stories, like all the things that you need to do in college, I don't care about it. And I think it's more powerful that I did all of that and still have, been able to get to where I'm at, opposed to if you said someone that is, a 4.0 did half of that or the same thing as that. Like it's beauty in the flaws. Like I don't say that as
100%.
to gas myself up, but I'm just showing you, regardless of how I think about myself, I still want to show you like I'm pretty much an average guy, like it's a regular, degular dude, but I do extraordinary things because I'm comfortable with how I view myself. And I
Yes.
know that it's okay to make mistakes. So
Yes.
I'm telling
That
you
is
right now,
so important. That is so
I gotta
important.
do the same thing.
It's okay to like let people down. Um, like I remember my my parents were so mad at me because in the middle of the semester, I was like, I'm going to Italy with my best friend, and I had like $1,000 in my bank account. It was the most stressful 2 weeks of my life because we had no money. We were so scared. It was just our give me 1 second. I need to put my cat outside. I'm sorry. Just pause it. So my roommate and I, we went to Italy and we had like $1,000 in our bank account total. And my parents were so mad. They're like, "What are you gonna do about school?" I'm like, "I'll miss a few attendance days and like miss some points there, but I don't really. I'm graduating with a B. That's fine." And so like obviously I did my homework and stuff, and I disappointed them a little bit, but I had the most amazing time in Italy. Like I learned so many more life lessons
Oh,
in
wow.
Italy than I did sitting in a classroom talking about it was a journalism class, like talking about journalism. And I think that it's okay to set your own standards for yourself, especially as you're coming into your adult life and realizing like what my parents want of me doesn't exactly mean that's what I want for myself. And it's okay to be different from them, you know?
No, I feel that. I think in general with our parents, like it may sound weird as kids to say this, but I tell people this all the time because I get it. You got to be patient with them because they're, well, essentially the whole way parenting has been set up essentially through the end of time, at least from what I've seen and know from being a
Mhm.
son. Parents teach you stuff that does help, but as you get older, it becomes more and more outdated because they're teaching you from values that have been passed on from generation to generation. So they're not teaching you as the world is evolving or as certain concepts evolving. Like for example, when they were, in school, entrepreneurship wasn't that big of a deal. Like being in college wasn't that big of a deal. Obviously, that is a element that they, passed on, but that's one of the very few. Or like taking non-traditional paths wasn't a normal thing. Like doctor, lawyer, engineer, like all these other cookie cutter, if you want to call that. I don't say that disrespectfully, but like traditional positions in society
Mhm.
was the norm. Whereas you have people that are news reporters, television hosts, like anything and everything in between. Some people get paid to just do YouTube or be an influencer. So getting them to understand that like our world is evolving and you just gotta trust me and let me make whatever mistakes that I need to make. You just gotta be patient with them.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think a lot of that comes from bravery. Like it is terrifying, not having a paycheck, at least in my career. The only time I make money is if a house closes. And if I don't work hard, a house isn't going to close. I don't have a paycheck. And it's really scary sometimes. There's been a couple times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do, and then all of a sudden I get a call and this person's looking for a house or a lease, and I'm just like, okay, I don't know what I would have done, but like I made it barely. And I think realizing that the world that we're coming to, and that we're, as the world's progressing, even though it seems like there are less and less opportunities, like as people come up with new ideas, I think it's the opposite. I think that it's like the guy, do you remember the guy that was drinking cranberry juice riding on TikTok, and he was
Oh
like
my
riding,
God, on the skateboard? I know
yeah.
you're talking.
So he was almost homeless. He just bought a house last week because of this freaking video. Like there's opportunity everywhere. And yeah, you might not be the lottery winner like that guy. Like, I don't know how that got so famous.
Yeah.
But if you post consistently, if you're consistent in what you do, if you show up every day and give it your all, there's opportunities everywhere.
Oh, 100%. This is, I don't want you to give away all your secrets, but I am curious. This is the final question before we get into the more exciting part of the show.
Okay.
How do you separate yourself from other realtors? Because obviously, like you're a one man, one woman wrecking crew right now, and there's other firms and other areas and people in Southern California. I don't know why I was that struggle to say. So how do you separate yourself from the competition?
So I always say that luxury does not mean a price point. When I get my clients, I give them the luxury treatment. It doesn't mean if they're looking at a $1,500 lease. It doesn't mean it doesn't mean I give them the luxury treatment, no matter if they're looking at a $1,500 lease or they're looking at a $15 million home. Um, I go out of my way to really make everything super, super easy for them. I'll put in the extra work so they don't have to. My closing gifts, I have this like really, really nice, like
Yes.
$70 wine. Typically I $70 from the winery, and then like typically like 140 at the store. And it's engraved and beautiful. And I try to just like, that's kind of just showing that I'm not just going to give you a bottle of wine and like a sticker. Like I go the extra mile for every single one of my clients, no matter what. And I think a lot of agents, they get really lazy. They would rather do other things. And especially the more experienced agents, you know, only just because I've been in the business for 3 years doesn't mean I don't know a lot. But a lot of people think that because I've only been in the business for a couple years, I don't know that much. But, you know, with all my partners combined, I have about 15 different partners, and we bounce ideas. We have a call every morning at 9 a.m. and we bounce ideas off each other, 30 minutes. This past year, actually, we had 300 transactions and 153 million in sales. So we're a very, very productive team. And so, but just because I'm a part of a team, it doesn't mean that they're like taking my clients. They're all my clients, but we all like bounce ideas off each other. And if I ever run into an issue, I have 15 other agents that I can say, hey, what do I do? And so I think just having the right connections, especially in this market, I have so many people come to me and say, Aspen, my offers aren't getting accepted. What do I do? My agent's doing everything. And I'm like, does your agent connect with other agents? Like, do they, you know, follow them on Instagram? Are they constantly reaching out? Are they sending them cards? And they're like, no, we don't think so. I'm going the extra mile by constantly engaging with other agents all around Orange County. And so when I put an offer in, that agent knows exactly who I am and how I represent my clients. And that offer is going to look a lot higher on the stock. Of course, the sellers choose which offer, but the agent can kind of put mine in a better light and easily put, you know, this other guy that he might not like in a worse light. So I think just a couple of different things: luxury, communication, clarity, and just my social presence with other agents in the area.
Golly, like you just dropped the bomb.
Thank you. I have actually been working on my, like, I feel like every person should have a value statement, like a 30-second elevator pitch. So I've been working on it, and well, it's not been on my calendar, and I think I just found it.
You just found it. So when
Perfect.
we're done this, I'm gonna send you your elevator pitch. And
yeah, I'll just
like,
memorize it. Why should I hire you?
Exactly. And see, I did something right today. That was my one good deed for the day.
Yeah.
All right. So we're gonna play 2 games. The first one, I don't know how hard this will be, but I feel like with all your experience, you will have enough time to think about these. But the first one is a rank 'em game.
Okay.
So I want you to rank your top 5 moments in real estate thus far. Like it could be closing the house, meeting somebody, learning from a mentor, the whole 9. Like,
okay, top 5. Number 1 being the best.
Number 1 being the best. So you could do 5 to 1 or 1 to 5, whichever one is easiest for you.
Okay. Number 1 was probably after I passed my test. Honestly, I sat in my car and I got the envelope. And I'd been studying all night the night before. I heard everyone, like this one girl that I know, she took the test 10 times. And I asked some other people, they're like, yeah, I took it 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I don't want to take it 2 or 3 times. I want to take it 1 time. I'm not taking it 2 or 3 times. I hate tests. I hate them. And so I was sitting there, and I wasn't in my car. I was in the elevator. They told me specifically not to look at the envelope in the elevator. And I said, I'm opening the envelope in the elevator. And I opened it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I passed. And like my face just got all red. I was so happy. That was definitely number 1. Number 2 was helping my first client close on his house. Richard, he was my neighbor, and he actually, I met him. Yeah, I know, it was really sweet. I met him, and I just moved to the neighborhood, and he brought by like a bottle of, he made this like cider or something. And so he's one of my really good friends, and helping him find a house after 8 months of looking, like I was just like, oh my gosh, I did it. I didn't just pass a test. I closed my first house. Like I can do this. And it was my client. It was nobody brought him to me. I found him. And then are 3, 4, and 5 supposed to like get progressively worse and worse and worse, or is it top 5?
Just top 5. Like it could be progressively worse, but that don't mean they have to be like bad moments. Like
okay. I wasn't sure if
all
you wanted
5
like
moments are supposed to be good. It's just like how good do you rank
Gotcha.
them based off of like how you feel? Was that
Gotcha.
a special
Okay.
moment? Like you
Yeah.
said, like the number one was the test, because like
Yeah.
now
Okay.
you're official. You know what I'm saying? So,
Gotcha. Number three, two reality TV / HGTV shows have contacted me in the past couple months. I can't say which ones.
yeah,
But I'm
that's cool.
super excited.
That's cool.
Um, Number four, getting my first paycheck. Oh my gosh. And I was like, I made this much money. And I thought about all the time I put into it. I was like, wow, okay, I need to figure out a more efficient way to do this. Because it's a lot of money, but spread out over 6 months, if you like break it down in 6 months, you're like, okay, that's not enough to live for sure.
Yeah.
And then number five is probably number five, I just bought a new CRM system, which is a contact relationship management system. It's my secret tool, and I've been setting it up, and it's going to completely change everything. And I think this next year I think I'm going to close 25 or 30 deals. So, which is a lot. And it's a very high goal because that's, 3 a month. But with this tool, I think I can do it. So that's definitely my top five.
Golly. See, that's interesting because I forgot to ask this before, but I'm glad we had this on record now. I meant to ask you if you got that set up already, because we talked about it on Saturday. So I was, curious, but hey, that's gonna
Yeah.
change the game. I'm not surprised.
Yeah. I'm excited.
All right, the last game before we get you out of here is this or that. I wish I had like something to drum on. Aspen Potter Holmes edition.
Go.
Okay, so first, condo or house? Like
House.
which house? All right. Student athlete or student?
Dating or which one would
Oh,
I rather
not
be?
dating. Like, did you prefer being a student athlete?
Oh, gotcha. For me, honestly, probably just being a student. Student.
On week that you said dating, that's funny though. All right, dresses or pantsuits?
Oh, dress.
Okay,
Dress. Yeah.
okay. SoCal or Utah?
Oh gosh. SoCal? I don't know. That's so hard. SoCal?
All right,
You're hurting me.
Thanksgiving or Christmas?
Oh, Christmas.
Okay.
I like giving presents. I love my family. I'm the best at giving presents to my family by far. Everyone else is horrible. And I love seeing my parents' faces every year when I get them like the best present ever.
I'm gonna have to peep your brain, when that time of
Oh
month.
yeah, for sure.
Like,
Etsy.com. Etsy.com for everything.
makes sense, makes sense. All right. Decorating a home yourself, like, your place, like you rather decorate it yourself, or would you rather hire a decorator?
Honestly, higher.
Okay.
Higher.
If you
I like it. I just don't I would rather do other things. If I have the money, definitely hire somebody for
okay,
sure.
okay. This one is like a trio, but you're gonna understand. All right, UVU or UC Irvine or BYU. So which one of the three?
Oh, they were just such different stages of my life. That is so hard. Um, Probably UVU because I became my like full self. I think I wasn't trying to be somebody else anymore.
Okay, okay. Full self, yeah, you'll definitely like this book. All right, a fixer upper or a new house?
Oh, fixer upper for sure, for sure.
Cool, cool, cool. All right, a night out on the town or staying, inside for the night?
Night out, but home by 12.
Is that really a night out? I don't know. I'm a night owl, and then like when
I I
when
used to be
outside was
till a month
open, I
ago.
was
I used to party. I'd go to Vegas, and then like a month ago,
wow.
I was just like, I can't anymore. I'm done.
Yeah, I did.
I've entered the adult phase. I'm staying home. I love my wine. I feel like a grandma.
You did a lot of growing, Aspen. A lot of growing.
Yeah, it's weird for me too.
Reading or watching Netflix?
Reading.
Okay. I thought that would be an easy one for you, but
Yeah.
you never know. You never know. Okay, everyone. That has been this week's episode of the Jack of All Trades podcast. Make sure you check out this episode, any of the other episodes on Anchor, Spotify, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure you subscribe to the Inside 380 YouTube channel where I will have this video and clips of this video on there as well. And make sure you get my book, Jack of All Trades, Rise Up Party Promoter. Holla at your boy. Get it. It's on Amazon. Yeah, and some other places. I don't remember all the places I should, but yeah, it's not worth it. And also, I'll put Aspen's info in the bio. Oh, and also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jack Onovan. LA out.